Well, folks, thanks so very much for inviting me here to your eLearning Institute. I apologize to the camera guys. I'm going to be wandering around a bit, so get those arm muscles built up. So today I'm going to talk to you about simulations, games, and stalking the digital native. And so yeah, I'm Steve Waddell. I'm CEO lead developer at eLearning, and we'll kind of get on. I'm going to make you some promises today, folks. One of the promises, I have a hard time standing still, as you can already tell, so I will promise I will be wandering around, so don't be too nervous if I get near you, okay? It's just who I am. I'm not a big mic person. I spent 5 years in improvisation comedy professionally, so I'm just kind of used to just talking to big groups of people, so mics kind of make me nervous. I will repeat myself. If it's important, I'll repeat myself many times. If I start repeating myself often, like 10 or 20 times, I apologize. I completely just lost myself in the presentation. I don't know where I'm at. And I'm basically buying myself time to try and figure out where the heck I should be. I will be biased. I promise that. I will be biased. We create interactive games and simulations for reaching digital natives and digital immigrants. So I already show up here with some preconceived notions of how to do this, because that's what we do. So I apologize if I seem very strong. It's because, again, it's who I am. And also, we will leave some time at the end of this for questions. I'll make sure you guys have a chance to quiz me. You'll find out very quickly I don't know much, but I'll dodge your questions the best I can. A little history. Our company was started in 2003. Our world HQ is in Olathe, Kansas, and for those of you not really familiar with this area, that basically means South Kansas City. Our top 5 states and where we have our biggest footprints is Texas, Florida, California, Wisconsin, and Kansas. It's nice that Kansas is in the top 5. We create immersive experiences, basically career simulations. These are like virtual internships that teach math, language, science, technology, soft skills, and the 21st century skills. These are robust immersive experiences, and I'll talk to you more about why we do these, do it this way. A little more history. I know in 2005 we were Regional Emerging Business of the Year here in Kansas. In 2007 we were top 50 small businesses of the year according to ASBDC. We have about 700 sites running right now in secondary and post-secondary. We're in 4th generation development. So you can tell we're only 6 years old, and yet we've already in 4th generation development of our engine and what we do. I would argue that if you're trying to reach digital natives, get used to it. You have to be always in new gen. You gotta be creating new gen. Okay, otherwise, you're old gen, and they aren't gonna care about it. Our courses get middle school and high school students in California college credit. In Florida, we're model curricula. We have game design course in California actually can give kids math credit for graduation from high school. They can get the math credit and go on to any of the UC or state Cal States. Besides our secondary educational customers, we work with corporate, government, and universities. We also run international competitions. We have a search and rescue robot competition, which Dr. Everly and Dr. Childress had a chance to work with about a year ago with us. Next year, I know they'll be helping us again this coming year. And we have more. We also have a video game design competition we run. I'll talk maybe a little bit more about that later. And we'll also be announcing 3 more competitions. These are all run through our foundation side. Let me give a shout out. Big thanks to the instructional design people here for working with us. eLearning really benefits from the chance of just getting to rub shoulders and elbows with the IDT people here. We really enjoy it. We've learned so much from working with Mark and Jane and Zini. So we really appreciate the chance to just be around you guys, and thanks very much. So eLearning, what do we create? Well, we create essentially giant simulations, giant role-play games. And what we create, we take the learner and we cast them in the role of a new hire at a company. And so as part of this new hire, they get faxes and emails and voicemails and text messages, cell phone calls and video messages and instant messages. They've got bosses and coworkers and friends and customers. And for these customers, they're going to build real product for them. They're going to solve the criteria constraints. They're going to solve the needs for that customer, provide the product and the services to that customer. It's a very, very in-your-face, first-person experience for these learners. Here's the titles we do things in: video game design, horticulture, building green, artificial intelligence, robotics, music video production, personal finance, biotech, and we have a number of other titles we'll announce a little bit later on this year. But you can also just look at these titles and look at the types of careers these titles are directing the students towards. You know, that's just part of the way, again, we're trying to engage that digital native. So we're stalking the digital native. Okay, we're stalking. So why are we stalking them? Well, because they are our customers. You know, one of the definitions I hear repeatedly for digital natives is anybody who's born after 1980. Anyone born after 1980 is a digital native. Well, just do the math real quick, and you find out that basically pretty much everybody in this room that we're engaged with in teaching and helping to learn, they're basically a digital native. And there's probably a good chance that many of us in this room were born before 1980. I'm not going to point any fingers. I'm not going to stare at anybody. But my suspicion is there's quite a few of us in this room who were born before 1980. Therefore, we are digital immigrants. Okay? We're coming along for this wild technology ride. Okay? All right? The digital natives have always just been there. It's their land. We're actually the invaders in their land, is the way you really want to think about it. So they are our customer. We need them. They are our future. And you know what? They need us. They really need us. So how are we doing for our customers? So we're looking at them, we're saying the student is the customer. How are we doing for the student? How are we doing for our customer? Well, guys, we know in our country we got some issues. And there's a whole bunch of issues. And I'm not going to get into politics or any of these things. I'm just going to point out a couple of things, and we're just going to kind of remember that they're kind of sitting there on that burner for us. One is dropout rates. Right, gang? I mean, isn't that an issue that we have in our country, dropout rates? We can argue what that exact percentage is, but I know for a fact the districts I work with in certain parts of the country, I know they have 50 and 60% dropout rates. So I know dropout rates is on the minds of many educators these days. And dropout rates is also an indication of an issue, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, in a Project Tomorrow survey that's done, 319,000 students were surveyed. 23,000 of the students think school is doing a good job of preparing them for their future jobs. 23% say they're doing a good job. Do the math. That's 77% that said, huh? You know, that's a problem, folks. Let's look at it this way. Guess what? We all just opened up the ESU burger stand. Okay, we're making burgers. You're a great fry cook, and you're cranking out those French fries like crazy. You know, I'm making the burgers. You got people standing up there, and you know what we start to find out? That 23% of our customers like our burgers and our fries. Is that really what we want to have for our burger stand? Do you really want to have a 23% success rate? I don't think so. And that's what the students are telling us, folks. The students are telling us this. I'm not here to beat anybody up. I mean, we're all part of this together. But that's a clue. There's a little bit of clue there in that for us. So how do educators feel? You know, one of the great things about what I do is I get to go all over the country and speak to educators all the time. We start to speak to educators. Clue there in that for us. So let's look at educators and speak to educators. We start to and speak to educators. We start to speakers and speak educators. We start. That's 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 speakers and speak educators. We start here. That's speakers and speak educators. We start here. That's speakers and speak educators. We start here. That's speakers and speak educators. Here, 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 that's spheres in speed education. 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 Here, that's spheres in speed education.